games, maybe at least just against Camelot King. Chat's predicted a 78 versus 22% favorite for the Oni Warriors, and I mean, if you're just going based off of standings, probably no surprise that it's a heavy favoritism to the Order side team.
I'm surprised they got 22% of the vote, if I'm being honest, J-Mac. I mean, I guess, big payouts can be pretty enticing, and that 22%, you're likely double, triple your money on an insert there. The Good Gladiators got themselves a composition that I can get behind, barring Snoopy on the Yanis. I'm a certifiable, verified Yanis hater. But otherwise, Kirmi, as a pseudo-initiator, Scary D is backline space creation, inbound as a front-to-back support, and Stu on a scaling hunter. All sound very good. Just gotta trust that the Yanis is landing some snipes in the late game or maneuvering well on map. My primary concern for the Oni Warriors is this Osiris, and I want to get ahead of this. I'd said it in the previous set, I'll say it again. I'm still not certain Osiris is very good. He very well could look like the best character in the game this game, just by nature of how the Oni Warriors win when they tend to win. It's generally a blowout performance. So, smoke and mirrors, Twitch chat. Don't fall for it if SOT pops off. It's SOT, it's not Osiris.
Yeah, don't fall for the potential Osiris propaganda that may come through from a game win here. If it's a win for the Oni Warriors, if it's a loss, well then maybe you can chop it up to maybe Osiris really isn't all that good. To be 2 games in a row picked and potentially 2 lost. But we're only a minute into game number 1. Not a whole lot has happened between these 2 squads just yet. We're going to stay here for just an extra moment, Mifflin, while these players get things sorted out there. But maybe kind of let's talk about, Kirmi, the Gilded Gladiators as a whole, kind of their climb so far this phase. Very rough early start to their phase, I believe starting out 0-4. Get a win up against the Camelot Kings, kind of sparks things up for the squad. Then just recently, a win up against the Jade Dragons, a team that they had struggled against the first time in regards of they were base defending against the Jade Dragons for 40 and then like another 40 minutes into game number 2, couldn't win out. This time they beat the Dragons on defending their base at 35 and 40 minutes again. So if we've learned anything from the Gilded Gladiators, it's tenacity as far as siege defenses go. And maybe that's where I can then round the conversation for you once we can kind of get back in here is, would this be a composition for the Gladiators to kind of help facilitate that defense style of play?
Oh, man. I feel like base defense is so entirely contingent on how good your mage is at putting out AoE damage, controlling minions, controlling space through damage. When I talk to the pros, why is it difficult to siege here in year 10? What's causing these games to go long? Why are these base defenses going so long? And they had essentially said to me, it's TTK and the nature of how the base is constructed in year 10, the narrow entryways into the Titan room, or how constricted space is around these Phoenixes makes it very easy for these AoE gods to threaten frontliners and backliners alike. That's not the case when you have a Yanis. Your Yanis really struggles in situations like that on both siege and siege defense. So if the Gilded Gladiators are going to be that team of, you have to earn it, you have to actually kill our Titan, and if you don't, we're eventually going to come back. I don't think that this is that kind of composition.
It's maybe more difficult in the late game, especially if a hefty lead starts going the way of the Warriors. Inbound, though, on this Terra. At least able to help get some pressure over against Metroid. Jake, a lot of sustain that can come from this Hell, that can come from this Terra. It's definitely something we'll have to keep our eyes on as the fights continue to break out, especially you couple of Terra with Scary D on the Guan Yu. So much out-of-combat healing that can be done, even in combat when you have that Guan Yu, just to get those cooldown reductions in the middle of the fight. Feels like anti-heal might need to be an early answer for the Warriors, and Pagon just flickers out, but he's still got the stream on top of him. Whew. But that Aegis buys him just enough time to get away from Kirmi. Nearly a spill on a Pagon, but he escapes the clutches of First Blood.
Perfectly timed Aegis, great flicker as well, just able to get out of range. Kirmi plays it as well as you could have asked for. I think the only difference Kirmi could have made is holding on to that pool until post-flicker, use the teleport, then try to go for the displacement, especially considering Pagon had picked up Aegis in first slot, but that is thin margins, and hindsight is 2020. Love that attempt there from the Good Gladiators, facilitated entirely by Snoopy and that portal placement. First rotation doesn't hit pay dirt though, but now without Aegis, next rotation might be good.
Panatom versus Kirmi for blue. That one goes to Panatom, able to just out-secure Kirmi, just barely. In the combo there, so the Oni Warriors maintain their blue, but the Gilded Gladiators at least maintain pressure on the map. And I think that's the most important thing for this team is beginning of the phase, they were kind of saying, yeah, we want to be that aggressive team to kind of kickstart the game. We want to get in their face. We want to fight early.
Yeah, they did it.
And they tried to mix levels of success throughout, but over the last couple of weeks, this is definitely a team that has been able to step up that early aggression and has been able to get those fights breaking out.
They have been. Looking at the map, though, is it the Gilded Gladiators that are going to be the ones getting aggressive? If it's not Kirmi, I don't see them starting a fight. Not proactively. It would be much more reactive style of play. Have Snoopy leverage that global mobility to shore up maybe some numbers disadvantages that Panatom will afford to the Oni Warriors with his global presence. So potential for the Gilded Gladiators to essentially play spoiler to the Oni Warriors early game, because the Oni Warriors have got very strong early game. As far as mage support players are concerned, I feel like Awesome Jake is doing it better than everybody else. His Hell, his Afro look very good. Might be because the Oni Warriors as a whole have been looking very good, or it might just be that Jake is that guy. But damage output from him, something you really need to be concerned about.
Well, Panatom uses his Aegis, but now he doesn't have beads. Is there enough damage? No, Snoopy doesn't have.
He did it too soon.
Unstable Vortex to close that one through. And Panatom will get to live now 2 Oni Warriors who have escaped the clutches of death just narrowly.
That can't happen, J-Mac. That simply cannot happen. At the highest level, finding a first blood on Panatom there would have been massive for the Gilded Gladiators and their pace. And had that first blood landed on Snoopy, you're getting what I'm assuming is likely a Chronos Pendant finished up very quickly. And instead now, he's being accosted and nearly dies on his own tower line. Pagon, unlucky. Not through any fault of his own there from Pagon. He got every bit of damage that he could have in that exchange. But Snoopy using Unstable Vortex into an Aegis at point blank that had already been channeled. It's not as if Panatom catches the ability. That was just too early from Snoop to catch him coming out of it. That is such a tough situation. The Oni Warriors and Panatom gets away with murder there.
Scaredy ulting the wave and maybe Totem. We've seen this story a couple of times in solo lane. Expend your ult, get that Totem, get that wave cleared out. Unfortunately, Scaredy does neither of those. He just ults the wave and a little bit of damage to SOT. So it'll be at least a Totem that way. Now, eyes are on Panatom. Maybe if he tries to capitalize off of this. Because now you don't have that quick escape from Scaredy. You don't have that option to jump up on the horse and run through. But Panatom doesn't have ultimate, so maybe that's the reason we don't see an immediate jump to Scaredy in solo.
Yeah, and Scaredy's also pretty tanky already. Has finished up Phalanx in first slot. An item that I think has some serious potential now as well, J-Mac. Not only does it affect minions, now you, the god, are also getting that benefit of additional attack speed as well as protections. For Scaredy himself, it's the protections. For his allies, perhaps it's the attack speed. But certainly a very good item that helps you with boxing potential, and one that I'd expected to get picked up this game, but not by Scaredy. I'm thinking that's an Osiris item.
Right, and instead SOT's gone for Mystical Mail,
which is different.
We haven't seen since, what, like the very beginning of the season when you were running that, Glad Shield, and a couple other just proc items right away. I think Contagion was thrown in there, just a heavy fizz build, but well, let's see what SOT does with the rest of this build.
Ooh.
Mystical Mail will help him out on his early wave clear. Maybe that's his answer. Maybe he says, I don't want to build Gold Blade. I don't want the damage, so I'll just get the free AoE pulse damage while getting some defense.
It'll help out a bit. The pulse damage, not as high as it once was. Not
Close.
Back in the day, but still certainly a little bit of additional damage, and will keep everybody in combat. If you're worried about blinks being channeled, SOT can simply stick close to you and have that passive do the work. Pagon, are you in trouble here? Able to avoid the stun, but not the damage from Snoopy, and that's good damage already. Chronos Pendant in first slot. You're generally sacrificing, but you wouldn't believe it seeing him take 50% of Pagon's HP in one fell swoop. Where you're really going to start to see the damage difference is in this next item. Chronos Pendant's going to give you consistent access to your abilities, but Spear of Desolation into what I can only assume is going to be a Rada Zahudi for Pagon means that he is going to have a massive damage advantage in about 1,000 or so gold.
Stewart's been left under tier 1 tower by Netroid, even despite the fact that Stewart has at least a slight XP lead. Maybe that's credit to the fact that Awesome Jake is pretty much stuck to this lane for a while. Inbound will use the wall to dash through and give back to safety under tower. There's a lot of pressure, at least from the dual lane of the Warriors, to try and keep Stu, keep inbound at bay. Now Jake rotating through with Panatom. This could be dangerous for Kirmi. Stun is good with the wall. Damage output, not quite enough. As maybe that fall down through the portal is one of the only things that keeps Kirmi alive.
Yeah, Kirmi's going to have to head back to base. That is a good deal of poke from Panatom and Jake. Just controlling map state so well. The Oni Warriors have really been aggressive, have kept Stu in this tower the entire time, and the tower's not looking so safe, J-Mac.
Nope. Stun, hammer, and a spin. One more auto. No, not going to find it there. He's up in the sky. Is he dead on landing, though? He is. The ult from Netroid did go through, and a pull back onto Jake. We'll trade out First Blood for First Blood, but a dunk in by Panatom for the escape. Means that he and Netroid will be fine. Hunter traded out for support, but it's First Blood for the Warriors.
Inbound, and Kirmi considering a chase out there, but a wall from Panatom and damage into Kirmi will prevent that one from continuing. The Gilded Gladiators were so close to making it out of there alive. Stu just gets into the air just in time, but was not quite able to secure an escape route, not with Netroid, with the ranged autos.
Scary D's used the last of his mana. Might be going down to SOT and Pagon, but SOT has no mana either. Pagon slows him down with the Blizzard. Needs just a little bit, but here's Panatom to save the day and make sure that Scary D is punished for the aggressive play at blue. 2 kills now for the Oni Warriors, and one of them now on the back of Panatom.
Yeah, Scary D's been playing haphazardly with these ultimates, hasn't he? Ult in wave, ult on blue buff, and does secure the steal, but you got to be concerned about these counter rotations, especially knowing that the Oni Warriors had just backed on left after a fight. A simple rotation there to get involved over towards the soul lane. Perhaps Scary D just thinks he has a little bit more time than he did. 2, 3 more seconds, or had it happened 2 or 3 seconds earlier, likely would have made his way out instead. Panatom able to secure that one with the help of Pagon. Inbound. If it were any other support, I'd have been concerned for his life there, but it's hell. There's no hard CC coming.
Inbound doing the best supporting he can to make sure as few minions are going down to the tower to make sure that Stu gets that goal. A roll in from Stu, a double root after, and an ultimate from Snoopy to get the team across the map. Awesome Jake in the middle of 4, still alive for a moment, gets the heal to Netroid. He's still alive. It takes a Typhoon and an extra auto from Stewart to knock him down, but Jake lived for so long in that fight that it was nearly a turnaround.
Man, Royd almost had the turnaround immediately there onto Snoopy, who could not quite make his way into the actual portal that he spawns up for disengage. If Panatom's 15 units closer or 5 seconds sooner and has ultimate, could have been catastrophic for the Gilded Gladiators. Coulda, shoulda, and was actually, because Gold Fury goes down. Oni Warriors lose a fight, take a gold. That's got to feel pretty decent.
And this is just their play style. This is what they've been doing. They say, okay, we're going to fight. Did we kill them? No. Did we send some back to base? Yeah. We got a few players alive? Yeah, we got a few. Let's just do an objective. Why not? And that's now pushed them to a 3,000 nearly gold lead for the Oni Warriors. Threat around Pyromancer as well. That's going to spawn here in just a few seconds. And look, they're already grouped around it. As soon as it spawns, the Pyromancer pulled. The Oni Warriors, I mean, we talk about this just being a fight-heavy team, a very scrappy team. They just want to go for the fights, but they have quickly centered themselves around being much more objective-minded this phase.
Yeah, they play just so fast on map. First, Gold Fury happens quickly. Pyromancer on spawn. But this is where the Oni Warriors have separated themselves in my mind. It's often what we'd seen from the Camelot Kings at their peak was the ability to do those objectives immediately, and then they'd rest until next objective. The Oni Warriors say, why wait? We've got the lead now, and even if we lose the fight, we're not going to lose much on it. Let's go ahead and take a tower.
Well, Runic Bomb and Kirmi's HP. The wall double tap is doing so much damage to Panatom. Now he's going to chase out Snoopy. Would it be troll if I dove the Phoenix is his thought. Maybe a little bit for how far Snoopy got through. Double tap misses Stu. Stu up to the sky, but he should be dead on landing. Going to block off the portal so he has nowhere to go. Who's Stu going to go down to is the question. Pagon is the answer. Even with Scary D rotating over, the Oni Warriors walk out scot-free.
Scary D's got chase potential, but with inbound and Snoopy just about a dead man walking, there's no reason to chase out. A wasted rotation for the Guan Yu, and he'll lose farm to tower as the Oni Warriors notch their 4th kill on the map. Panatom can't be allowed to play Thor. No. I know it's a joke, right? You know, he's played it only 27 times, but 70-some-odd% win rate.
Yeah.
Games like this where he's diving Phoenixes, and it's not a one-off. This is now a running gag for Panatom where he's going to ult you in your Phoenix while a Tier 1 and Tier 2 are still up, and you simply have to accept it as a simple truth of the universe. It's going to happen. The control on map, the pace of game, Panatom's Thor is just on a different level.
You know, we asked him about it the first time he did it. And he asked the team, he said, would it be kind of silly if I did this? Would it be troll if I dive Lasbra at Phoenix? And they said, nah, go for it. He gets the kill. I bet you he didn't even ask this time. He just did it. He said, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to pull the trigger, throw the ultimate out. If I get him, I get him. If I don't, I got the team behind me to make sure I can get out.
team was certainly ready. SoloOrTroll was actually so confident in that team fight that he doesn't make the rotation. So
He just stayed.
the Oni Warriors still trying to get aggressive. It's Pagon alone.
And he lives through all that. He turned around and soloed him right back out. Kirby's down. Pagon goes down right afterwards. Now Stu will be the next casualty. It's awesome, Jake. Credit for the kill. A wall on an inbound. And nowhere for the Terror to go. A banner and another shot. Awesome Jake with the double, but it's a 3-piece combo for the Oni Warriors.
Pagon just does so much damage so quickly, and in fighting inside of his own Ice Storm, prolongs his life. The Gilded Gladiators did not want to walk through his damage, and why would you? Spear of Desolation, Charon's coin finished up as well, working down that spellbook tree, and that's not even talking about the Divine Ruin. So anytime you take a fight against him, if you're stacked up, you've Chain Lightning ripping through you as well. The Gilded Gladiators just not favored in these jungle engagements, not with the lockdown and damage output, persistent damage on field that Pagon's affording his team. And this is the reason right here. What you see on your screen right now, Doug, take it back. That's why I don't like Yanis. While you're taking a team fight at your own red buff, getting slammed by Pagon 1v4, the Snoop Troop's on split push duty, and he might have been right to do it. That's why I'm not a Yanis fan.
He didn't get tier 1, though. He got
tried.
the Bastions. He gets a little bit of gold for himself. Maybe that can help through. But right now, Pagon is on a whole nother level up against the Gilded Gladiators. Sure, he gets shut down. It took like 4 of them to actually do it. But Pagon goes down. It's an Oni Fury started by the Warriors. Inbound is here. It's Terra. We've seen the steal many times, but it won't happen this time. Even the Yana snipe from Snoopy's ultimate going to be off the mark this time through. The Warriors get yet another objective, and, well, Mifflin, the gold lead's not looking so hot. It's 7,500 gold and nearly 9,000 experience up for the Warriors.
Yeah, I talked to Panatom before this set, JMac, and I said, Panatom, what can I expect from this set today? What are you going to give me? Give me a set count and whatever. He said to me, unprompted, he goes, 2 games, maybe 1 long one, 1 short one. That's all he said. So calls to the 2-0 and calls the timer on it as well. At this pace, I'm thinking we're looking at the short one.
So are we considering short like pre-25, like the Ravens pacing in our first set? Like we'll call that short.
If they can keep this up, I wouldn't be surprised. It depends on this first Fire Giant, legitimately. With the vision on left, you know those two are still pushing. Fire Giant,
wow,
looked at,
yeah, right there.
Yeah.
These guys like to take fire early. They had a pre-15 fire last week. Maybe not quite the same pace, but near close to that.
Have to try
Fire
and steal.
Giant, not even half HP. They're not doing a whole lot of damage to it. Pagon's instead using most of his damage to zone. Now the full stack of the Warriors under. Snoopy goes for the shot. It's a little too early. Helps out on the burn through there, and now the Warriors know the best steal on the map is gone. And it's a Fire Giant just past 16, and Snoopy's going to use the enemy base as a place for him to go back to base.
Yeah, where's the most inconspicuous place to back? They'll never expect me here, and he's right. So he will make his way back to base. TP channeled there by SOT as well, just to prevent that Phoenix from going down, which would have been an exposed win condition for the Gilded Gladiators. Instead, it has become a clear and tactical sacrifice of the Tier 1 and Tier 2 on left. They were not caught off guard by the Gilded Gladiators going for split push. But what do you do with Fire Giant now? There's only 2 Tier 2 towers still standing. And the Oni Warriors are so strong that I think that a 4-1 split just favors. Anything they could do on map is good for them, because Panatom's doing things like that. You could even, I think a 3v4 on Siege might go the Oni Warriors' way. So have SOT on left, have him split push, have him distract the Gilded Gladiators. A good call, I'm thinking. Best case scenario for the Gladiators is that they somehow all teleport to Netroid right now. And opportunity's gone because the rest of the Warriors are there.
Yeah, unfortunately Snoopy was the furthest back from everybody, so even if he ulted, teamed too far to try and stop this tower. Tier 2, and maybe even Phoenix. SOT still pushing up mid now. He went back to base while the rest of his team, well now, SOT's building crit, by the way. I'm going to leave that as a note in case this game goes longer.
No way he finishes the item.
He's building crit at the moment. We'll see if he even gets to finish it. Panatom stops the dash. Potential from inbound as a snipe from Snoopy splits the uprights in the middle of all of the Oni Warriors. SOT pushes up mid. The rest of the Warriors on right.
Man, SOT's been on tour. He's just been meandering through the map for the last couple of minutes because his team has not needed him. Needs him now, and SOT's there.
Inbound finds a big root, but he's nearly down. One more shot. It's from Jake, who takes him out. A dunk in by Panatom to the back line, but it's Aegis away by Stu. who lives by the good grace of that Aegis. Scary D dives to the back line, but that's the last thing you're going to do, Scary. It's a double for Awesome Jake.
There it
4
is.
and 2. Stu gets the snipe, take out 1, but SOT, he's by himself in the back line. He's 2v1ing Snoopy and Stu. He'll die to Stu. It's a double kill for the Gladiators. They keep a few alive, but they still lose out on their right side Phoenix.
Man, that was a hard-fought battle on the right-hand side. The Oni Warriors unwilling to leave the Phoenix range, it looked like to me. Had they decided, all right, let's back up, let's heal, use Fire Giant, use Jake's sustain, probably could have been a bit cleaner there. Instead, SOT wanted to be in the enemy fountain to send a message to Snoopy. And all I can imagine that happened there was he hit him with Lord of the Afterlife, and Snoopy had to suffer. And that's the simple breakdown of what goes on back there. Stu, just not enough DPS to stop SOT on his own. Speaking of SOT,
Yeah.
Bumba's in last slot.
He didn't.
It's got to be Bumba's hammer, right? With Sickle on such a short cooldown, you're going to get that passive pretty consistently. Now, J-Mac, I've been accused of BM before in the past. I'm a bit of a toxic fellow.
Okay.
So I think I'm in a uniquely suited position to break down the mentality of SOT in particular right now. And I am willing to bet 6-4 odds that SOT at some point during this game has said, we can't end yet. I need to finish Bumba's in my crit item just to see what it looks like. I am willing to bet that is a legitimate comm that we've got here.
You know, the Oni Warriors win this set and we get SOT on the post-game interview, I'll ask him, you say, did you tell your team to hold off on game number 1 so you could try this build out? You know, what was the comms like there?
He didn't even go Phalanx. Like that's the reason I thought we've been seeing OSIRIS.
That's what I thought too. And then I saw the Glad Shield pick up, said, okay, well maybe next item. No, isn't Oni's. And okay, so maybe next item. Nope, that's Stone of Binding. He is just going against the grain at this point. Item gets buffed. We saw it twice, picked up last game in the previous set, now once in this one, but by Scary D instead. He's confusing me. He is legitimately confusing me right now.
Yeah, I think he's confused just about everyone, but it's worked out pretty well for him. And this is what I was talking about earlier. It might not be a good pick, it might not be a good build, but it's going to look that way because the Oni Warriors have simply just been dominant on map. But map state maybe turns around here. Stu and Snoopy, they don't get the Phoenix.
Don't get it. Panatom on the chase. Dunk is towards Scary D. But there is a one-way express train out of here via Giannis. The Gilded Gladiators, they don't get Phoenix, but they do end up losing Fire Giant because of it. But everybody lives.
Not the mid-Phoenix,
so Silver Lining, Scary D, he goes in, finds the stun on 2, half HP. Might want to back away because he and Stu are both getting chunked out just by this Merlin damage. Snipes by Stu. Those could be massive. Aegis is there. And the snipe, it's Inbound who takes him down. 1 out of the fight already. Snoopy portals away, now being chased away by Panatom, and the fire raining through on Inbound. He's taking not as much damage as the Oni Warriors had hoped for, but they're able to take down the mid-Phoenix while SOT split pushes left.
So it would seem 3 versus 5 on mid-Phoenix is the limit of the Oni Warriors. They can't do that, but they still get the Phoenix. So maybe disingenuous to say that they can't do it. Because
they can't win the fight.
Can't win the fight, can certainly win the structure.
Dropship in by Snoopy. Pagon almost taken down. It's Stu with the piercing shots that do it. Snoopy is out. Stewart is low. SOT is hunting for anybody he can get his hands on at this point, but now he's got to run. It's a Sunder that slams and a wall by Panatom. Drops Kirmi down. Stu takes a lot of damage. Panatom in the sky.
He wouldn't.
Who's he aiming for? Snoopy portals away. It's right back on top of Stu. The Aegis is there. The shield proc, but it's not enough damage. Stu goes down at the tail end of it. It's just the frontliners left. And Netroid back on the way for the Warriors.
I think SOT can essentially fight indefinitely now with Stu off map. Stu, the only one posing any legitimate threat to this OSIRIS, means that he could essentially just walk into that backline at any point, even at half HP. Instead, we'll allow the Gilded Gladiators to reset and defend the right-hand side. Phoenix respawn, but the left is where the fight had started, and the Oni Warriors are not a team that will walk away without their goal completed. Tier 2 knocked down and primed for the next Fire Giant.
Doug beat me to it. I was going to say, what's golden pocket for SOT is 3K.
It's Hammer.
Bumba's Hammer. You got that one right.
Had to be. No way.
Okay,
he sold it?
He sold it. Frostbound. Maybe Frostbound?
Could be Frostbound.
It's Heavy Hammer.
Is Dawnbringer in that tree? I will tell you the truth. I've never purchased Dawnbringer in my life.
I'll be honest, I think I bought it one time. And that's probably a reason why I've only bought it a single time. We'll see where SOT goes with the rest of this build. See
It's
what
gotta
this
be Frostbound.
see what this Osiris does.
It's not like Frostbound's all that good either.
I'm just wondering why he even built a tier 1 crit.
You know, he was thinking maybe he would have had the gold. You know, things. What if we just got like a pentakill real quick? Could have been.
Yeah, what if I just go Deathbringer or maybe like a Bladed Boomerang and I just run through everybody and crit for like what, like 150 damage on a crit maybe?
150 a crit when you're allowed to fight forever? That's not so bad. That's
Yeah.
not so bad. Instead, he decided to be unkillable with Bumba's hammer. So, what was already incredibly tanky, I don't know if you noticed, Talu Assault was hitting him for 15 a tick. What was already impossible to kill has only become even more so with additional sustain in itemization. And it is Frostbound.
Wow.
So I should break it down, I guess, what it does. It's like my job.
Slows you down.
There you go.
Slows you down.
Wait, he took it right out of my mouth, man.
He's got so many slows now.
Sickle's
Basic
on a
attack
negative
slow.
cooldown. With Bumba's hammer, it's a negative cooldown on Sickle.
Man. Yeah, yeah, good luck escaping SOT at this point. The only thing that maybe stops SOT is himself.
Yeah, I can see him just walking in.
He just walks in up against 5, thinks, I've got this, I'm unkillable,
Oh, yeah,
then
he wants
realizes,
to do it.
okay, Scary D. Now he's going to fight. Okay, I'm not even going to say Scary D's fighting. Scary D's just trying to walk away, but that's not happening. There's too many slows.
That sucks.
We have a movement speed floor, by the way. Like, the slowest you can go, it's like 270 movement speed.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Sot's close to putting Scary D there by himself.
Yeah, Scary. It didn't even look tanky, did he? I mean, that wasn't like a super long fight.
He's only got 3.5 items.
Yeah, that's why. Okay, I hadn't realized how poor things were going for the Gilded Gladiators. Fire Giant gonna make things a bit more poor here. Right side Phoenix likely the goal afterward. I imagine no more trolling. A true 5-stack on the right-hand side won't leave Pagon and Netroid to their own devices. So long as the Oni Warriors can survive Snipe from Snoopy and Typhoon from Kirmi, I think that is the entirety of the Gilded Gladiators team fight. The ability to jump into the back line has been consistent. Scary D has proven to be squishy. Time for the Oni Warriors to at least try and close it out.
Full grouping on the right side. Kirby doesn't get a play. He just got Panatom Thor comboed.
That was sick.
Who's going to take the next brunt of damage?
You wouldn't.
Maybe Snoopy. Dive under Phoenix. Oh, yeah. Oh, he would. And he is. Aegis used. But Panatom will live under the
Sot
Phoenix.
was
Sot
tanking?
took the tower
He healed
taken
it.
for him. Phoenix goes down. Panatom might just hunt for another one since he's still alive by the good grace of his frontliners. Meanwhile, SOT's 3v1ing in the back line.
Oh, they're not healing.
With a Titan included, by the way. Oni Warriors, they've given up on the kills instead. Let's just end the game out. Pagon gets one more kill at the end, and the Oni Warriors, a 26, sub-26 game for them for game 1.
Thor's got to get banned. That's
Okay.
That's
It's
number
number
one.
one.
In PEMDAS, that is number 1.
That's-
Panatom's Thor, that's
yeah,
the P.
What's
Other
the
than
E?
that, if I had the E through S, I would tell you, but nobody's figured it out. They're undefeated for a reason. But I at least got the P, and we've got it locked down. Panatom's Thor.
Yeah, Panatom can't get Thor again. We've seen what he's done in past sets with it. We all got reminded again what he can do in this set to try and up against the Gladiators. I mean, Gladiators just had 2 moments in this game where they nearly got